denies selling petrol to NNPCL at 898 naira per litre, supplies 16 million litres. Nigerian Inland Waterways begins enforcement of Waterways Code in Lagos, deploys 76 marshals and 72 naval officers. And later on the show, Federal Civil Service retired workers seek urgent intervention on non-payment of their pensions since March 2023. I'll be hanging out with Babajide Kolade Utitoju and Chris Kendi Wadu. Journalist Hangout starts right now. Now let's begin the conversation. The seeming Cold War between the Dangote refinery and the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, first over petrol quality and now pricing, appears endless. The Dangote refinery has denied selling petrol at 898 naira per litre to the NNPCL. The Group Chief Branding and Communications Officer at Dangote Refinery, Anthony Chejina, issued the rebuttal following the commencement of loading of petrol from the company on Sunday after months of delays. Chejina stated that the refinery sold the products to NNPCL in dollars, resulting in significant savings compared to what they are currently importing. BK, let's start the conversation this way. Conflicting reports, coming back and forth, especially from the NNPCL and Dangote Refinery concerning the purchase and the price of PMS, which is raising questions, about their business relationship. What do you make out of this?
Some days back, you will recall that I complained that both Dangote and the NNPC were talking too much. And I'm really disturbed at some of what is going on, because in a fight between two entities that Nigerians do not give their total trust to. When I say this, I know what I'm talking about. There are many Nigerians who are scared of Dangote because they believe that he will institute monopoly if he's permitted to. There are many Nigerians who over time have learned to distrust the NNPCL because of the apparent inefficiency and lack of transparency in many matters. So, in a conflict between two such entities, the biggest casualty is always the truth. I don't know why you would say you didn't sell petrol at 898 per litre to the NNPC, and you came short of telling us the exact price that you sold the commodity. You see, on social media, those who have been saying, okay, NNPC, Dangote, tell us exactly, put the matter to rest. Tell us how much you sold this commodity. Those who are asking that question, Nigerians are abusing them, accusing them of hating Dangote. We have now reached a terrible junction in our country whereby for asking a question, people will then see you as either supporting Tinubu or against him. We are not allowed to ask pertinent questions again.
But why is Dangote not telling us?
We are not allowed to ask pertinent questions again. And I pity Nigerians because a lot of them don't even know what's going on in that sector. These arguments are needless. Focus on product availability because Nigerians are after that. But the people manage information for Africa's richest man.
Okay.
They also know that if they give that impression that it is this costly to buy refined, crude, to buy petrol at his refinery, it will create a kind of negative narrative, because the feeling people had always had was that, once Dangote begins to roll out, the price will crash. There was an interview that Alhaji Dangote granted some months back, I think about 4 or 5 months ago, or close to that, where he also gave that impression. He was talking about, freight costs will no longer be there, cost of insurance will no longer be there, therefore the landing cost will go down tremendously. The cost of PMS will go down tremendously once we're able to do production locally. But as we have seen, even objective marketers have told us that local refining is not a guarantee
for lower price,
for significantly lower prices. When they tallied everything together, they still told us that even with local refining, if Dangote were to add its costs and other associated costs of retailing and all that, it will still come to above 1,000. We are moving towards, Nigerians are the pawns now in this game. Remember, there was a time that the impression was given out there, the NNPC was refusing to sell crude oil to Dangote. The NNPC then told us that between December and now, they've sold more than 30 million barrels. And there was no denial to that effect. But because NNPC itself has huge trust deficit, Nigerians have chosen not to believe whatever they say, even if they are saying the truth. Because we have a CEO of NNPCL that will tell us, Port Harcourt refinery 3 times on the bounce. Why don't you just shut up? Because you tell, so how will Nigerians trust you, and you are the face of the company? If they can't trust you, that you, the CEO, can tell them that the refinery in Port Harcourt will begin to roll out petroleum products at so time, and they can go to bed believing that it will happen. How will they trust whatever an NPC says? Even if Dangote tells in your face lies, Nigerians will still not believe the NNPC. So this is the question that this is what the situation that we are facing. How much did you sell to them? You know why, as a journalist, I'm interested in that. This is what a lot of the people sit on social media and write absolute nonsense, don't know. As a journalist, I want to know whether NNPC has thoroughly fleeced me. Because if you come, except if he signed a pact of no disclosure with them, I don't see the big deal in saying this is how much I sold to them. After all, they have come out to say this is, whatever it is, whether it is dollar denominated or not, it still must have a price.
In other words, what you're saying is what Dangote is doing is deliberate, not giving.
It's just not to tell us. Now people are telling us, it's not obligated to. Well, absolute nonsense. You can't tell me that it's not obligated to tell us. Today, if I want to buy an airplane from Boeing, I know how much they will sell it. It is public knowledge. Today, if you want to buy diesel from Dangote, I also know how much. But what we want, Nigerians want transparency. Let the NNPC too also say, we sold crude oil to him. This is how much we sold to him. He should then also tell us how much he builds them to refine. It's as simple as that.
All right, BK, let me bring in CK in here. looking at this media war, it all started with quality, now with price. Dangote is not saying anything. The NNPC has given us, a breakdown. What are your thoughts on the back and forth, this media war?
In terms of trust deficits, Dangote dropped the ball. Every time we come here and we talk about NNPC, we've always said time and time again that we, not just journalists, Nigerians don't trust NNPC because of the bogus claims, assertions, as well as promises that they make. We can go way back to how many years, several years. But when it comes to this issue of Dangote, I am totally aghast and flabbergasted by the attitude of the management of Dangote and also the corporate communication or PR department of that company. It's appalling. Because what they have done in the last few days is strictly unprofessional. Okay. At a point where what every Nigerian has been expecting to land, and they are supposed to heap up so much glory, they dropped the ball. And NNPC took the initiative. And what the NNPC have done is NNPC seems to be singing the victory song now instead of Dangote. And that is very bad. This is NNPC that has 4 refineries. None is working. This is NNPC that have over 50 depots across Nigeria. None. There is no petroleum in any of them. These NNPCs that have close to about 150 kilometers laid down pipes across Nigeria where petroleum products are supposed to, no single, even ordinary water is not on that pipe. But Dangote has come around and be able to build one of the biggest refinery in Africa and one of the biggest in the world. And for over 28 years, we've not had this good. And it has come to the point where you are going to deliver. And let me tell you where the Dangote started dropping big ball. During the press conference that the CEO, president of Dangote had, at that press conference, when he talked about petroleum, he first of all made he goofed. When he told the nation that the Federal Executive Council is going to determine the price, I was shocked. When he lost, they made a second statement that NNPC is going to determine the price of petroleum. NNPC came out to say, no, it's not possible.
Are they the ones refining?
Because one thing they've forgotten is that NNPC is a competitor to Dangote refinery, for goodness sake. They are competitors. So what I'm saying in essence, now to even make the whole mess of this thing, NNPC came to say that this is how much we bought petroleum product from India. And I was shocked by the statement that was issued by the department, by the corporate communication department of Dangote after, where he said we sold it to them in dollars. So what?
All right.
If you
dollars
just a second,
has a value.
Does dollar have a value?
All right, no problem. I think right about now, let's take this conversation to another level. Right about now, we have joining us via Zoom, the energy editor of Sun newspaper, in person of Wale Sanyaolu. Wale Sanyaolu, it's so good to have you join us on this conversation on Journalist Hangout.
Thank you very much.
All right, Wale Sanyaolu, the good news is that NNPCL has begun lifting petrol. How significant is this? They started lifting petrol on Sunday. How significant is this in the oil sector?
Well, thank you very much. Well, it's a milestone that has been recorded with the commencement of operations at the Dangote refinery. I use this opportunity to congratulate Alhaji Aliko Dangote, the NNPCL, and Nigerians. Now, having said that, the issue at hand now is a case of beyond accessibility. What Nigerians are interested in is affordability. If you look at it now, the cost of imported PMS is somewhat cheaper now than what we are having that is being produced locally. At the NNPC retail outlets, a liter of PMS sells for 855 naira. Now, with the announcement, with the template that we have now from NNPC, it's about 950 for Lagos and over 1,000 naira in Borno, 980 in Rivers. We have different price templates across the country. Now, the question is, Nigerians are not ready to cut out that much in terms of expenses on PMS. It's going to be a huge burden on the pockets of the average Nigerian by the time you are buying a liter of petrol at 950 naira per liter. Now, the independent petroleum marketers came out this morning to say the whole thing, how did they, that doesn't make sense anymore. That if imported petrol is now cheaper than the ones that are produced locally. Same thing with the conference of United Political Parties. They equally came out with a statement condemning this price. Now, the Dangote refinery issued a statement yesterday, and what I was looking for in that statement, I didn't get it at the end of the day. Now, NNPC said they bought from you at 898 naira per liter. And now you have said that is not true. What one would have expected is for them to give us, okay, what is your price template? At how much did you sell to them? That is on the one hand. On the other hand, the Dangote refinery released about 16.3 million liters of PMS to NNPC, which is a far cry from the 25 million liters that was demanded for and paid for, leaving them with a shortfall of about 8.7 million liters. Are we saying they don't have enough in stock to make this product go around or to supply what they have paid for? So when you look at the whole thing, it's a whole lot of confusion. And I would have expected Dangote, the communications team, to do better than this in terms of leaving the judgment in the hands of Nigerians by saying, okay, if you have said this is what you bought, okay, this is what we sold to you. Then Nigerians can take a stand at that point. But as it is now, we seems to be at crossroads.
Now, you said that it looks like imported petrol is even cheaper than the one refined locally. The argument people always make is that Nigerian crude oil is the most expensive in the world. It's actually called the Lamborghini of the industry. Usually about $5 higher than WTI in Texas. Don't you think the fact that our crude oil is very expensive has played a part in the kind of pricing that we are seeing coming out of NNPC and Dangote refinery?
Well, if that were to be the case, there are some other things you have to consider. In the pricing template of PMS, there are a lot of things that make up the pricing template. And now, if you are producing locally, some of those components would have been knocked out. One of it is what's it called, the freight charge, because you cannot compare what you would use in transporting a vessel of PMS, say from Rotterdam in Holland to Lagos, Nigeria, than what you have produced in-house there. So on what part you have been able to knock off that cost. Then in terms of insurance charges too, for that distance, because you have to insure, which is called, I think, goods in transit, that cost again would have been knocked off. So when you look at that, Nigerians had expected so much that with the coming on stream of this refinery, petroleum products would be cheaper. But the reverse is what we have in our hands now.
How will NNPC ensure that this product is effectively circulated? Because for now it's like NNPC is the sole off-taker from Dangote, which is not what Nigerians wanted to see. It's looking like a mutually assured monopoly now between Dangote and the NNPC. will the NNPC be able to ensure that other marketers get the product?
Well, I think we may be running in the same circle. Just like I mentioned earlier, the members of IPMAN have said that if this locally refined product is higher than what imported product is, then it makes no sense of the whole exercise. Now, at this point, what I would expect is that I think the market should be opened up and let independent marketers, major marketers, all those that are involved in the petroleum retail value chain, let them open up the market so that they can begin to import. I think that is the best. While waiting for the Port Harcourt refinery to come on stream, let them return to importation so that we have a free market, so that prices are determined by the market. I think that is the best solution. But in this situation that we have found ourselves in, I cannot assure you that we have seen the end of this.
Now we are looking at the current price before the Dangote, and we're talking about 855 naira per liter. But the general impression is that that is not the landing cost of that petroleum product to Nigeria. It means, because if you look at the landing cost from what we've had, it's about close to about 1,100 or 1,200. Yes, that means that the difference is the subsidy that is being, it's said that the federal government is paying, or that NNPC is paying. Now, if we can be able to look at that as the issue, because we are talking, when I read through the IPMAN press statement today, where they were saying that, that of Dangote is more expensive. That it is not more expensive. If we put it vis-a-vis the landing cost is still more than what we are. But what we're talking about, the subsidy. Now, the general impression Nigerians are having is that, is there a way we can bring some level of subsidy to the Dangote to make sure that this comes down? That is one. The second one is that Dangote, NNPC said that they paid for this product in dollars, but by 1st of October, that they will be paying in naira. Do you think that in itself will have a significant effect on the price of the product starting from October 1st? Well, are you there?
Yes.
Did you hear me?
Okay, you expect me to respond to that?
Yes.
Okay. Well, the Crude for Naira initiative is a wonderful one, and I think the federal government should be commended for that. This is a position that the Crude Oil Refiners Association of Nigeria has pushed for a long time. And thankfully, I think graciously the Federal Executive Council consented to that. Yes, I want to believe that by the time they begin to purchase the crude in Naira, there may be a significant, a slight drop in the price of PMS, because issues around sourcing for Forex and all that will not occur anymore. So I think let's wait till then and let's see what plays out. Now, talking about subsidy and the landing cost, and which you mentioned, yes, as at today, the landing cost of PMS is over 1,000 naira, if I'm right. I don't have the figures after the 1,000 naira, 1,000 something is slightly above. But you want to agree with me that with that price, it is obvious that there is still a sort of subsidy. Because if it was at that price, in addition to, it is not only the landing cost you look at, there are other associated costs apart from the landing cost. Transporters margin, MPA charges, NIMASA charges, and all that. By the time you add all those costs to it, by the time the product is getting to the pumps, definitely it will be inching around, maybe around 1,170, maybe 1,170 naira or thereabouts. Now, that is to tell you that what we are actually paying for petrol at this point in time is not the actual cost of petrol. That is just the truth about it. And I want to believe that even the cost that Dangote is giving, I'm not sure that is the actual cost. And that is why we need him to come out to tell us what the actual cost is.
Thank you.
That 907 naira is not the real cost. Somebody is still absorbing this cost.
All right,
I think at this point, we need to be told the truth.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Wale Sanyaolu. Thank you so much for having this conversation with us. Wale Sanyaolu is the energy editor at the Sun newspapers. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, Journalist Hangout will be right back after this break. And when we're back, the conversation continues. Don't go anywhere.
Hi, this is Dr. Abiola Salami, the world-class performance strategist, author of the best-selling book, The Magic of Emotional Intelligence, and the publisher of The Peak Performer Africa. I'm inviting all young emerging leaders, women in leadership, and C-level executives to the Peak Performer Festival 2024. The theme is Driving a Culture of Peak Performance in Africa, Leveraging the Magic of Emotional Intelligence. Date is 2nd to 4th of October 2024. We will be learning from top-tier experts from multiple industries across the globe. We have designed the Peak Performer Festival 2024 to deliver excellent return on investment for sponsors and organizations that want to leverage the event to engage customers and power up their staff for peak performance as follows. 1. The Emerging Leaders Summit, where we will equip young emerging leaders with emotional intelligence skills that will fast-track their career and enterprise growth. 2. The Women in Leadership Summit, where we will equip women with emotional intelligence skills that will position them to deliver excellence everywhere they lead. 3. The C-Suite Networking Breakfast, where we will equip leaders at the very top of the organization with emotional intelligence skills that will enable them drive sustainable growth for their organization. And finally, the Peak Performer Awards, where we will recognize legacy founders and peak performing organizations in both the public and private sector. Affordable sponsorship and corporate registration packages are available. You can reach out to us on team@tppafrica.com or call us on 090-91234-567. Or you can visit www.tppafrica.com for more information. The Peak Performer Festival is an initiative of Champ Global Leadership Consultancy, a world-class organization driving a culture of peak performance. Till the next time, keep rocking your world like a champion.
And cable, great quality, now with the new look.
All right, if you just joined us, it is still Journalist Hangout. I'm still hanging out with Chris Kende Wadu and also Babajide Kwalade Otutoju. Now let the conversation continue. According to a former U.S. president, Calvin Coolidge, nothing is of greater importance than the conservation of human life to improve safety and regulation on waterways. The National Inland Waterways Authority, NIWA, has commenced a sensitization and enforcement drive to ensure full compliance with the Waterways Transportation Code in Lagos jetties. The Lagos area manager of NIWA, Sarat Brema, stated that the agency will ensure that boat captains, operators, and passengers are fully aware of the new safety measures and the strict penalties for non-compliance. Now, the agency has deployed 76 marshals and 72 naval officers to enforce compliance. The major aspects of the code are mandatory registration of vessels, the ban on overloading of boats, and the compulsory use of life jackets for all passengers. Now, BK, talking about the Waterways Transportation Code.
Yes.
Tell us, what is it about? And also, will all of this ensure safety on the inland waterways?
Of course. I'm happy for one thing. When you put the right people in the right places, you are bound to get good results. The dividends will be self-evident. The Nigerian land waterways had been neglected over the years. What they just came up with now is a 4,479-page book about the inland waterways transportation regulations. These were things that for years we didn't bother about. And accidents were rampant on the waterways. When accidents happen, you find that the bulk of the travelers were not even wearing
life jackets.
Yes, life jacket. No form of protection. Sometimes the vessels are overloaded. People just allowed all sorts of nonsensical things to go on. So it has taken the current helmsman, who for years was finance commissioner in Osun State, to come up with a set of laws and regulations to guide the conduct of people who want to use the waterways. I, for one, would very much like to use the waterways if my office was located close to a terminal, for example, a jetty. But that's not the case, because it is a good alternative to the usual commuting that we are familiar with. So now these regulations that they come up with talks about safety, qualifications of captains, environmental ecosystem of the waterways, and what people need to do. So now they've embarked on campaigns to ensure that people are aware of their responsibilities, because there are fines to go with infractions. So those sensitizations at the jetties will continue until such a time that the people are aware of what's contained in this 4,479-page book. You see, for example, dumping of refuse and solid waste on waterways, for example. People do it here in Lagos. You see them.
Yeah, exactly.
They've turned the lagoon and
into some sort of dump site.
Yeah, just dump waste in them. If you are caught doing this, it's a 20,000 naira fine. You know, if you are caught overloading a vessel, you will also pay a hefty fine. If you violated regulations regarding life-saving appliances, that's what I said earlier. You need
the life jackets
yes,
and all.
because you, as a captain, you must make sure that the people
on your boat,
vessel,
they are well secured.
Yes, are protected. We've taken the well-being of Nigerians for granted for too long. And I'm really, really grateful that we now have a helmsman at Niwa. Niwa, by the way, the headquarters is in Lokoja. I was there some months back. The headquarters is in Lokoja. But now we are seeing a new lease of life. I saw some of the new buildings that they constructed within the space that they have. For so long, that agency had been neglected, but we are seeing some energy now under the leadership of the Minister of Blue Economy. Of course, you know, great things are happening, and this is one of them.
This is one of them.
To put together a body of regulations. 4,479. You know what that means.
Exactly.
So it's no longer an all-commerce affair now.
No longer business as usual.
Yes, no longer business as usual. Look at all the people that they've deployed. 76 marshals, 72 naval officers in Lagos alone. There's no way that the job won't be done.
All right, CKN, let's talk about increasing the potential of inland waterways in Lagos. Now, looking at these laws, in your opinion, will this boost the confidence in water transportation and also increase patronage?
Yeah, it should be, because ordinarily, to a large extent, the waterway ought to be one of the safest and the shortest means of transportation. And I remember in my early days in the industry, when I was working with LT's advertising Apapa, and if we want to come today to Marina, all we just go is we just go to the Deliver Brothers office there. There's a harbor there. Just enter a boat, Piam. Within 5 minutes, you're in the Marina. If you take that stretch by road, coming from Apapa, from Apapa to Marina, it will take you over 1 hour. Hold up and rest of them. Lagos traffic, yes.
Exactly.
There will no hold. I'm telling you. Last week, we were somewhere, BK and I and some of us, we were at an event of one of our friends, somewhere in Adota, in Ogun State. We passed through the Lagos Badagry Express. Okay. We entered through Badagry. And I saw that at the tip end, if you know the Badagry, where the toll gate used to be, on the left there is a jetty that was built. I was curious enough to look at that. If you get to that jetty, you'll be shocked. From that Badagry, from there, you must see Marina. What it means is that if you enter a boat from there, from that Badagry to Marina, definitely within 10 minutes, you'll be in Marina. Yes. That is how close that is. So that is why the water transportation is very, very key.
Something that will take you hours from there.
Yes,
to the road.
and yes. Now let me shock you more. When we are talking of issue of life jacket, the life jacket is an equivalent of the seat belts that the road safety have as Nigerians. If you know how many lives have been saved in Nigeria since the federal road safety started insisting on Nigerians using seat belts, the same thing on the waterway. A few days ago, 40 people died in Zamfara State. Boat mishap. There have been instances where people die and close to 200 in this Nigeria.
Because of
the yes. Now, you still remember, even Nollywood, you saw what happened.
Yes.
A few months ago, when some Nollywood people went to Pope John and the rest of them, they are not wearing life jacket, and the guys they fell into water. And so that issue is something I really, really like, because if you go to Marina and stay at Marina and see those boats ferrying people from here to Ikorodu, the speed and the way and manner our people sit, like if we are loaded with all sorts of the people are sitting on top of boat, they are not wearing life jacket and rest of them, and most of them are saying,
so compliance
is very key. If we can be able to get that, but good enough, we also have to commend. I think it's Lamata. I don't know which one is it. I think it's Lamata that's in charge of transportation. If it's Lamata, I will tell you that they also been doing a lot of jobs in that way, because I've seen of recent that most often than not, before you enter a boat, at times they insist. Some of the officers. Last in May, I was in Cote d'Ivoire for the African Nations Cup, and we were to be taken to some tourist it was by boat. Some of our Nigerian people, you know their numbers, the celebrities and whatever, they wanted to enter the boat, and the operators of the boat said, "No, you must wear it." I heard somebody saying that it will stain my this thing. You know what they told him?
Talking with his life.
I'm telling you. No, they didn't allow him to enter. They said, "Please, good." And he didn't go.
That's what we want to see.
And that is what we want to see here.
So
if we're getting all this number of these things, I will hope that this will also be replicated in other states.
Yes,
especially with the Niger data and the creek.
They've said they will cascade it to other.
It will help us a lot. It will. It will save a lot of lives.
Because look, let's face it, we have to encourage commuting by the waterways so that we can decongest our roads. Yeah. And Lagos, the city of aquatic splendor, is a city where I believe that the waterways have been largely neglected, underutilized. So if people are guaranteed of their safety. If more investors will come into this business, more investors with the right equipment and all the right appliances, you know, the right vessels, more people, it is fun.
Very, very.
For example, you are going to the most distant beach in Lagos.
Beaches, yes.
You go.
You don't even have to take your car.
Yes, that's the thing.
You park your car and you enter the boat.
Exactly.
Most of those beaches.
If I was living in Agility, for example, and I have a job on the island, of course, I will use the waterways.
The water.
And once I'm guaranteed of my safety, honestly, it is so much pleasure. It is so much pleasure. The thing is, the practitioners, the captains, and everybody must be vigilant. You cannot take extreme measures just because you want to make money. You cannot take risk. So to Bola Oyebamiji and his team, we say, well done. We wish you Godspeed. We know that there is a lot more to do.
Sure.
Lagos is just one of the places where you need to enforce this code using the resources at your disposal. The Navy, they are there, and then your own trained personnel. Let us exploit the full potential of our waterways.
All right, let's go back to another conversation. With the hard economic climate in Nigeria, serving and retired workers cannot afford any delay in the payment of their entitlements. As such, retired workers of the Federal Civil Service are seeking urgent intervention regarding the non-payment of their pensions since March 2023. They say, despite repeated appeals to relevant authorities, nothing has been done in that regard. Now let's share this story by TVC News Celestina Area with you.
The federal government's indebtedness to retirees on acute pensions rights in the last 18 months is estimated at 260 billion naira. This has led to increased poverty and suffering among retirees, loss of trust in the system, as well as negative impact on the well-being and dignity of retirees. Coordinator of the Association of Retired Federal Civil Servants, Olunuga Olufemi, in a press statement has called for the immediate payment of outstanding pensions, regularization of pensions payment to prevent further delays and investigation into the cause of the delay and accountability. He is also seeking the intervention of stakeholders to avoid the ripple effect of the non-payment of pension. Acute rights represent an employee's benefit for the past years of service up to June 2004, when the Pensions Reform Act (PRA) that gave rise to the Contribution Pension Scheme (CPS) came into effect. According to a report by the National Pensions Commission (PENCOM) in 2021, the federal government released a total of 100 billion naira for payment of acute rights, which brought the total amount released by the federal government from inception to 980.18 billion naira. In March 2022, the federal government released 14.92 billion naira from payment of acute rights. According to the 2024 Appropriation Act provisions for pensions, gratuity and retirees benefit declined to 673 billion naira from 854 billion naira budgeted in 2023. Celestina Area, TVC News, Abuja.
Now, looking at the pictures of the pensioners, being carried, looking at the socio-economic realities, which is biting hard on Nigerians, the federal government's indebtedness to retirees on accrued pension rights to the tune of 260 billion is not acceptable.
And you see, when you fail to pay, it continues to accumulate.
Oh dear.
Month on month, it accumulates. These pensioners are saying that since March 2023, they've not been paid a dime. That's after dedicated service to their country and after repeated appeals to the relevant authorities. And you don't need to be told that many of them are facing severe hardship at this time. They need money for their drugs. They need money to feed their families. The way we treat pensioners is one of the reasons why people steal so much money in government. Let's face it. If we want to defeat corruption, we must ensure that people are paid the right wages and their entitlements are not denied them. Those stealing so much money, stealing much more than they need. They are trying to save for the rainy day. For these ones now, the rainy day came too soon and they have nothing. How do you fail to pay people from since March last year? That's more than a year. Those who even get paid every month, they are going through a lot.
Some even
and you've not paid for more than a year. How do we even process this kind of thing, this kind of story? How do we process this kind of story? People's confidence in the system will continue to get eroded when they see this kind of things happening. And if we do not address this and solve this problem, it will get worse. Those in service today who are in position to pay people's pensions and they are sitting on people's pensions, they are feeding fat off the pains and anguish of people. They must remember that soon
someone else is coming.
They too
they will get
retire.
there.
And that kind of fate awaits them. Not only that, in closing, I have to say that the people managing pension funds who permit this kind of wickedness to happen, we must hold them accountable.
Okay.
We must make them pay for their inefficiency. We must make them pay. We must ask questions. It has to be investigated. Why do we have this kind of situation? Since March last year, you are not paying people's pensions. And they've left the service. What do they fall back on? I don't understand. What do they fall back on?
It is sad. It is sad. As CKN, recently, the Nigerian Union of Pensioners also had a press conference talking about this issue of cost of living issue, the rise in the cost of petrol, everything bites. Let's talk about solutions now. In terms of a way forward, that the government can begin to put in place. Perhaps a living pension, because we have a living pension.
I mean, I'll tell you for free that one of the reasons, or in my growing up days, I vowed never to work in the civil service. The reason was because of pension. Because at that young age, I saw, it didn't start today. It has been there for long. I saw how retired teachers were suffering. I saw how retired civil servants were suffering. In fact, it got so bad at a point when I've grown up and I was working. When I was living in Abuja, and I passed through Zone 3, there's a place called Zone 3 in Abuja, Wuse, and you see retired military men sleeping on the streets.
In the open.
In the open, for days, for weeks. Why? Because they came for their pension. They were telling them to come for verification or verification. Very old people, some all the way from the north, from south, from southwest, from south, all of them on the outside. What they were not doing was going around begging for food from people. It was that terrible.
They are diabetic, they need to buy drugs, no money.
Some of them, in the course of that, died in the process. Yeah. There were instances in the past, I think it was one of them, where a pensioner stood on the line for verification, slumped and died there.
CKN, let's talk solutions.
We have to create this for us to be able to. Let me often take it a bit before we start. The situation was so bad that at the time, federal government appointed a so-called tax task force, headed by one man. I forgot that man. Mena. The man that was asked to come and unravel the business now stole so billion. In fact, I don't know where that one is now. The solution is that everybody that has the responsibility of paying, from local government, I'm talking about government now, local government, state government, federal, must make sure they do. I saw one of the states, some people were jubilating.
Because of our time, solutions. Should there be subsidized drugs for the elderly, for the pensioners? Should
I agree with you on that. I personally feel that for a start, we're supposed to make health free for retirees. Those, yes, free.
Healthcare delivery.
Healthcare delivery, free. It's done across the globe.
Okay. Yes.
We should be able to make sure that they are insured and put in that health insurance scheme. NHS, free. As you are retiring, those should be one of the benefits you get as a retiree.
People will be proud to work.
People will be wanting to. Do you know that some of these people end as little as 15,000 naira?
Oh, you say,
and they won't still pay it on time.
Good. Oh, what? You see, I had about 15. I showed that 15,000, 10,000, 5,000 to last
and
them,
they will not pay.
And they don't pay them. It is very, very, very. So those are the issues I think that we should make, at least for health, must be free for them.
Thank you.
And the particular stipend must be given them every at the state, local government, and at the federal level.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Chris Kennedy CK, and thank you so much for this.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for having me.
BKO.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Appreciate you for having this conversation at this time. And that's it on Journalist Hangout. Today, join us tomorrow for another episode of the program. You can watch the repeat broadcast of this episode tonight at 11 and join us on Sunday from 1:30 to 3:30 p.m. for Journalist Hangout on Sunday. We are on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I am Benga Oreshegun. Bye for now, and God bless Nigeria.
Ready for something big this September. Africa's largest creative event is back, bigger, bolder, and more exciting than ever. This is your moment to take your creative career to the next level. Are you passionate about film, fashion, entertainment, art, photography, technology, music, dance? Whatever your passion is, this is what you've been waiting for. Join us for the 3rd edition of the Africa Creative Market, a mind-blowing experience you won't forget. From the 17th to the 20th of September at the iconic Landmark Event Center, Lagos. Get ready for 4 action-packed days of entertainment, inspiration, networking, and incredible opportunities for growth. It's time to shine. Don't miss it. We'll see you there.
His act is different. His comedy is special. His shows are classy and unique. He rarely comes on stage, but once he does, reefs are shattered with humor at his presence. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Prince Will on stage. Guilty or not guilty. Also featuring the funniest of classic comedy arts. Date Oktoberfest 2024. Venue Terra Culture, Victoria Island. Time. This show must start at 5 p.m. and must end at 10 p.m. Tickets. Main bowl 10K. Front row 50K. A table seat 100K. Table for 500K. Tickets are available at seatsandtickets.com or via WhatsApp bookings to 0805-948-1185. This comedy special is rated 18+.
The following is a paid presentation by ShopX TV.
Tired of pans that scratch and stick? Or cookware that takes up valuable space in your kitchen? Introducing ShopX Gotham Hammered Copper Collector.
For the flood that destroyed residential houses, hospitals, markets, schools, and other public facilities, the president has visited the Sheikh of Borno, Abubakar Gabai El Kanemi, saying it's a collective responsibility to ensure the state comes right back to normal and tackle climate change, as he sympathizes with residents and government of the state over the incident.
I'm just here to sympathize with you. I I know your palace was overtaken by flood. I've had the report. This one disaster that we must pay attention to. We will help Borno State. I could see the commitment and love shown across the board. The governor of Bauchi is here. He's of a different party. And this is what is expected of Nigeria.
And earlier today, the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, visited the state capital to sympathize with the state government and victims. During the visit, the IGP assured that the 4 police stations destroyed by floodwaters would be rebuilt soon.